For as much as humans have dominated and devastated the animal kingdom, we've also regarded them with jealousy. Just imagine what it would be like to fly like an eagle, or be strong like an ox, or as fast as a cheetah. Would we trade bipedalism, opposable thumbs, or our big, brilliant, soft and wet brains for these animal adaptations? Well, probably not, but what if we could have both? And would you believe that some humans already have these animal abilities? Welcome back to an alternate world. Today, we'll be exploring the possibilities for humanity if we were able to acquire certain animal traits and senses. Let's go! There are some home-run adaptations that'd be great additions to our current physical forms, such as a dog's sense of smell, although that may ruin public washrooms forever, a fish's gills, or kangaroo's jumping ability. It'd make for crazy events at the Olympics. A lot of men may choose to add one very specific feature from horses. We could totally make a video about that. Just let us know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. But for this video, we want to highlight some lesser-known but equally butt-kicking animal abilities that you may not have heard of. First up, the superb lyrebird, an Australian songbird that has the specialized ability to perform spot-on mimicries, like a bird version of Matthew Friend. The lyrebird is able to perfectly replicate the sounds of other birds and marsupials in its environment. And when filmed by the BBC and the legendary Sir David Attenborough, it copied the sounds of a camera shutter, car alarm, and even a chainsaw. The lyrebird's mimicry is so accurate, the species it's imitating often mistakes it for one of their own, with documented footage of strike thrushes and kookaburras responding to the mimicry the exact same way they would respond to another one of their species. The vast array of sounds the bird is able to produce is a key aspect in searching for a mate, as it is believed female birds would see the best mimickers as having the best potential offspring. Now just imagine if human vocal cords could also produce such accurate mimicry. The possibilities are endless. Most importantly, kids would be able to get out of class by calling their school and perfectly imitating their parents' or guardian's voice. Every day could be Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Not that we at Alternate World endorse skipping school, of course. Another great option would be that with this ability, we could all become talented singers. Colleagues who think they're Adele could actually sound like her during karaoke. Looking at you, Karen from marketing, that was the worst rendition of Skyfall I've ever heard. Along those lines, we could also say goodbye to horrible accents. We all have that one friend who thinks they have the best British accent, but instead just sound like drowning Australians. It's not just fun changes either. This mimicry could have practical real-world applications. Let's say you're being mugged one day. Being able to produce a near-perfect police siren, fire alarm, or even a gunshot sound could spook your would-be robber. It would be a double-edged sword, however, as criminals could also weaponize this unique ability. You could knock on someone's door and pretend to be someone they know in order to gain entry, or call people pretending to be their grandkids to scam them for some money. All trust would go out the window. Being able to mimic sounds like the lyrebird would be a fun and beneficial trait for humans, but one that could also cause great harm. As Uncle Ben once told a young Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. The next animal we want to borrow from is the mighty African hippopotamus. But we don't want their fearsome size, strength, or shocking good looks. We're interested in a natural secretion they produce called hipposudoric acid, which is a red liquid that the locals call blood sweat, no tears. It acts as both a sunscreen for the hippo as well as an antibiotic. The sweat has a chemical component that, when combined with the mucus on the animal's skin, sticks around for hours. This thick mixture absorbs both ultraviolet and visible sunlight and works to protect the hippo's skin from harmful rays. While sunscreen companies would hate to see humans gain this ability, it would provide so much benefit to the general public, protecting us from nasty burns, skin cancer, and people writing words in sunscreen on our backs. The secretion from the hippo also works as an antibiotic. The highly acidic substance inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria. This explains how hippos stay infection-free despite the horrific wounds males inflict upon each other during skirmishes. If you combined this ability with human healthcare capabilities, we could see a dramatic downtick in deaths and long-term problems resulting from slashes, cuts, or any open wound, really. And we're not saying that you could be the Terminator and survive a full frontal assault from an Apache attack helicopter, but countless lives would have been saved in the trenches of World War I if we also had this useful hippo sweat. Humans have already been looking into the molecular structure of sloth's fur and what lives in it to find potential medicinal benefits. American Judy Avey runs a sanctuary in Costa Rica and claims you will virtually never come across a sick sloth. With these superbugs and global viruses circulating around, it may be nice to all act a little bit more sloth going forward. Now, I know the song is I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, but what you should really be asking Santa for is the glands of a hippo that produce this miraculous secretion. That's catchy, right? Our last gift from Mother Nature will be from the humble wood frog, a species that has conquered one of Earth's harshest climates and even defied their own end. Wood frogs undergo an astonishing process, freezing solid for up to 8 months each year during winter. Almost the exact opposite of Michael Bublé. Ice quickly fills their abdominal cavity, encasing organs and forming crystals between skin and muscle. Meanwhile, their liver produces glucose, preventing cell freezing and dehydration. This unique adaptation allows ice to form outside cells and organs while preventing internal freezing. During hibernation, wood frogs show no muscle movement, heartbeat, or breathing, resembling icy stones. In spring, they thaw from the inside out, with their heart, brain, and limbs reactivating. Just like Bublé does to hit us with another wave of Christmas covers. Despite this extreme process, wood frogs emerge undamaged, defying conditions fatal to most animals. Now, this may come as a shocker, but if a human completely freezes, well, just ask Jack Torrance from The Shining. If ice crystals form inside an animal, they can puncture blood vessels. When blood freezes, there's no mechanism to deliver oxygen and nutrients to organs, so extreme metabolic damage occurs. And ice severely injures cells by drawing out water and causing dehydration, scrambling the interior structure of cells and fracturing the cell walls. The result is pervasive and deadly internal damage. But what if humans could pull off the medical miracle that the wood frogs have mastered? We could have explored the Arctic much earlier, discovered the Northwest Passage, and partaken winter sports worry-free. Avalanches are much less intimidating when it's just a tremendous opportunity for a stressless nap. Medically, we could freeze people and afford doctors more time to save them if they needed to find an appropriate donor match or develop a new cure. People could freeze for years, decades, and wake up in a new century, like a real-life Fry from Futurama. And last but not least, no one has to fear being locked in a cooler or a freezer anymore. If you've ever worked in a kitchen and spent time in a walk-in freezer, you know the fear I'm talking about. Forensic scientist Howard Cannon says 60 people die from walk-in freezer incidents per year. And that's just what we know of. Thankfully, with the gift of the mighty wood frog behind us, this monstrous act would be stopped in its tracks, and we can do our Rocky impressions without worry. Did you know that certain humans have already cultivated some enhanced animal capabilities, like dropping their body temperature to 0? American endurance performer and magician David Blaine, who froze himself for a total of, get this, 63 hours, 42 minutes, and 15 seconds. His record was eventually beaten by illusionist Hezi Dean, who remained in a block of ice for 66 hours. Although both required medical assistance afterward, they survived and went on to perform further tricks to astonish their audiences. And these two aren't the only ones with animal-like capabilities. One such group would include the Bajau people, who include several Austronesian ethnic groups of Southeast Asia, who are often referred to as sea nomads. Their society depends heavily on the ocean, and they spend most of their time on boats or in the water, which has resulted in their bodies adapting to enable them to hold their breath for up to 13 minutes whilst freediving. They've developed larger spleens than the average person, which helps store and release more oxygenated red blood cells while being under the water, a trait that enhances their diving abilities much like marine mammals. There are also people with disabilities who have learned to adapt to everyday life, much like how animals do. A prime example would be visually impaired folk utilizing echolocation. That's right, it's not just for bats and whales anymore. Some blind individuals make clicking sounds with their tongues and listen for the returning echoes, discerning the noises in order to navigate their surroundings with impressive accuracy. But what about defending ourselves? Many animals have defensive and offensive abilities in order to survive. Can humans do any of those things? Well, you'd be surprised. Various martial arts forms, particularly in Chinese traditions, have developed styles that mimic animal movements. For instance, Shaolin Kung Fu includes forms that emulate the movements and fighting styles of animals like monkeys, cranes, snakes, and tigers. Why imitate an animal when fighting? Well, get up and go one-on-one with a grizzly bear, or a puma, or a king cobra, or even a chimpanzee, and then get back to me. No, seriously, go. I'll wait. Just like in Kung Fu Panda, we can also become dragon warriors and put our enemies in whooshy fingerhold. Anyway, how would you picture a world where we could add certain animal adaptations? What abilities would you like to have? Other than a horse's, How would you use your newfound powers? And what would humanity look like after this evolution? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us which alternate world we should explore next. See you on the next one.